You've been starving yourself for weeks, eating like a sad rabbit, and your body still holding on to fat like it's preparing for the apocalypse. Meanwhile, some guy at your gym eats twice as much as you and walks around looking shredded year-round. What does he know that you don't? Hear me out. Eating less isn't the ultimate fat loss secret everyone pretends it is. In fact, it might be the exact reason you're stuck. Today, I'm giving you 10 fat-burning tricks that actually work, and most of them have nothing to do with eating less. Before we dive into the tricks, you need to understand why crushing your calories into oblivion doesn't work long term. Your body is way smarter than you think. The moment you slash your food intake dramatically, your metabolism freaks out. It's called metabolic adaptation, and it's basically your body's survival mode kicking in. When you eat way too little, your body assumes food is limited. So what does it do? It slows everything down to conserve energy. Your energy crashes. Your workouts feel like you're dragging through wet cement. And the worst part, the longer you stay in an aggressive deficit, the harder your body fights back. This is why people lose weight fast, hit a wall, and then regain everything, plus a little extra as a souvenir. They didn't fail because of weak willpower. They failed because they triggered their body's built-in defense system. And here's what nobody tells you. When you regain that weight, it often comes back as more fat and less muscle than before. So you end up worse than where you started. So stop thinking that eating less is always the answer. Sometimes, eating smarter and moving differently is what actually pushes through. That's exactly what these 10 tricks are all about. Here's something that sounds too good to be true. You can actually burn calories just by eating. And no, that's not some made-up internet nonsense. When you consume protein, your body works overtime to break it down and absorb it. This process alone burns roughly 20 to 30% of the calories you just consumed. Compare that to carbs, which sit around 5 to 10%, and fats, which barely hit 3%. So if you eat 100 calories of chicken, your body might only keep 70 to 80 of them. Eat 100 calories of butter, and you're absorbing almost all of it. This doesn't mean you should drown yourself in protein shakes, but bumping your protein intake up can quietly increase how many calories you burn every single day without changing anything else. Aim for around 1.6 to 2.2 grams per kilogram of body weight. And there's another bonus. Protein keeps you full way longer than carbs or fats, so you naturally eat less without feeling like you're restricting yourself. Your muscles will thank you, and your metabolism will too. But protein is just the start. The next trick takes this concept even further. This ties directly into the last trick, but it deserves its own spotlight. The thermic effect of food is the energy your body spends digesting what you eat. And not all foods are created equal here. Highly processed junk, your body barely breaks a sweat absorbing it. The food is already so broken down that digestion takes almost no effort. Whole foods with fiber and protein, your digestive system has to put in real work. This means 2 meals with the exact same calories can have completely different effects on your body. A meal of grilled fish, vegetables, and rice will cost your body more energy to process than a fast food combo with the same calorie count. So yes, food quality matters beyond just vitamins and minerals. It affects how much energy you actually retain. Think of it this way. Whole foods make your body work for its calories. Processed foods hand them over for free. This doesn't mean you can never touch processed food again, but if the base of your diet is whole, single ingredient foods, you're automatically burning more calories just by eating. Now, the next trick has nothing to do with food, but it might be sabotaging everything you just learned. You can have your diet dialed in perfectly. You can train like a machine, but if your sleep is garbage, your fat loss will stall. One rough night of sleep is enough to mess with your hunger hormones. Ghrelin, the hormone that screams at you to eat, spikes up. Leptin, the hormone that tells you you're full, drops down. So you wake up hungrier, craving junk, and your willpower already barely hanging on before breakfast. Studies show that sleep-deprived people eat hundreds of extra calories the next day without even realizing it, and it gets worse. Poor sleep also tanks your insulin sensitivity, which means your body handles carbs worse and stores more fat. On top of that, your body does most of its recovery and repair while you sleep. Cut that short, and your gym performance drops too. You don't need to become a sleep scientist. Just aim for 7 to 9 hours, keep your room dark and cool, and stop doom scrolling an hour before bed. Your fat cells will notice the difference, even if you don't. Sleep is huge, but the next trick burns calories without you even realizing it. This one flies under the radar, but it might be the most powerful trick on this list. NEAT stands for non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Fancy term, simple concept. It's all the calories you burn doing stuff that isn't official exercise. Fidgeting, pacing while on a phone call, taking stairs instead of the elevator, standing instead of sitting, cooking your own meals instead of ordering delivery. These tiny movements add up to hundreds of calories per day. And here's the kicker. Naturally lean people tend to have higher NEAT without without even trying. They move more throughout the day instinctively. When researchers overfeed people, the ones who gain the least weight are the ones whose NEAT shoots up automatically. Their bodies just start moving more. The good news? You can hack this. Stand while working, park farther away, take phone calls while walking, set a timer to get up every hour if you have a desk job. None of these feel like exercise, but they quietly burn calories in the background all day long. And unlike intense cardio, NEAT doesn't spike your appetite or drain your recovery. Speaking of things you're already consuming, the next trick is probably sitting in your kitchen right now. Caffeine isn't just a morning survival tool. It's actually a legit fat loss aid when used right. Caffeine stimulates your nervous system and tells your fat cells to break down stored fat and release it into your bloodstream. That's called fat mobilization. But here's where most people mess it up. They slam coffee all day long until their body builds tolerance, and then it stops working. Or they load their coffee with sugar and cream, canceling out any benefit. Some people drink it so late that it wrecks their sleep, which, as we just covered, destroys fat loss anyway. If you want caffeine to actually help with fat loss, use it strategically. Keep it to 1 or 2 cups a day so you don't build tolerance too fast. Drink it black or close to it. Time it before activity so your body actually uses that mobilized fat for energy, and cut it off at least 6 hours before bed. Used correctly, caffeine is a free metabolism boost hiding in your kitchen. Now, the next trick sounds insane, but there's actual science behind it. You've probably seen influencers screaming about cold showers and ice baths. So what's the real deal? When you expose your body to cold, it has to burn extra energy to keep you warm. This activates something called brown fat, which is a special type of fat that actually burns calories to generate heat. Sounds amazing, right? Well, slow down. The calorie burn from cold exposure isn't massive. You're not going to freeze your way to a six-pack, but it does add up over time as another small tool in the kit. A cold shower at the end of your normal shower, even just 30 to 60 seconds, is enough to get some benefit without turning your morning into torture. There's also evidence that cold exposure can improve mood and reduce inflammation, which indirectly supports fat loss by keeping you consistent and recovering better. Don't expect miracles, but don't dismiss it either. Every small gain adds up. But the next trick? This one can undo an entire week of progress in a single night. Nobody wants to hear this one, but it has to be said. Alcohol is a fat loss killer, and not just because of the calories. When you drink, your body treats alcohol as a poison. It prioritizes getting rid of it above everything else. That means fat burning gets put on pause completely until the alcohol is processed. Your body literally stops oxidizing fat the moment you take that first sip, and it doesn't start again until the alcohol is fully cleared from your system. Add in the fact that alcohol lowers your guard, and suddenly, that late-night pizza sounds like a brilliant idea. Then, there's the hangover the next day, where you skip the gym and eat garbage to feel better. One weekend of drinking can genuinely erase a week's worth of progress. You don't have to quit forever, but if fat loss is the goal, understand the real cost of every drink. It's never just the calories on the label. Alright, enough about what to avoid. The next trick is something you should add more of. Fiber is the unsexy nutrient nobody talks about at parties, but it's secretly a fat loss weapon. High fiber foods take longer to digest, keeping you full for hours. They also slow down the absorption of sugar into your bloodstream, which keeps your energy stable and your cravings under control. Most people barely hit half the recommended fiber intake, which is around 25 to 30 grams per day. Bump that up with vegetables, fruits, beans, and whole grains, and you'll find yourself naturally eating less without feeling deprived. Fiber also feeds the good bacteria in your gut, which plays a bigger role in metabolism than most people realize. A healthy gut microbiome has been linked to easier weight management and fewer cravings. It's not flashy, but it works. Start adding fiber gradually though, or your stomach will stage a protest. Now, the next trick is even simpler, and you're probably not doing enough of it. Water might be the most underrated fat loss tool on the planet. Even small dehydration can slow your metabolism and tank your workout performance. Your body needs water for almost every metabolic process, including breaking down fat. Studies have shown that drinking water can temporarily boost your metabolic rate by up to 30% for about an hour. It also helps control appetite. A lot of times when you think you're hungry, you're actually just thirsty. Your brain mixes up those signals constantly. So, before you reach for a snack, try drinking a glass of water and waiting 10 minutes. You might realize you didn't need food at all. Aim for around 2 to 3 liters per day, more if you're active or sweating a lot. Keep a bottle with you everywhere. It sounds basic because it is, but basic works. And if plain water bores you, throw in some lemon or drink sparkling water. Just stay hydrated. Alright, last trick. and this one is going to free you from a lot of unnecessary stress. You've probably heard that eating 6 small meals a day boosts your metabolism, that you need to eat breakfast or your body goes into starvation mode, that eating after 8 p.m. automatically turns food into fat. All of that is nonsense. Your metabolism doesn't care about your meal schedule. What matters is what you eat and how much over the course of the day, not when you eat it. Some people thrive on 2 big meals, others prefer 5 smaller ones. Neither is better for fat loss, as long as the total intake matches your goals. So stop forcing yourself into an eating pattern that doesn't fit your life. If you hate breakfast, skip it. If you like eating late, do it. If intermittent fasting works for your schedule, great. If it makes you miserable, ditch it. The best meal timing is the one you can actually stick to without losing your mind. Flexibility beats perfection every time. There you have it, 10 fat-burning tricks that have nothing to do with starving yourself or spending 3 hours on a treadmill. The truth is, fat loss isn't about suffering. It's about being smart with the tools you already have: protein, sleep, movement, hydration. None of this is complicated, but when you stack these tricks together, day after day, week after week, the results build up in ways that crash diets never will. You don't need to do all 10 perfectly. Pick 3 or 4 that fit your life and actually commit to them. That alone will put you ahead of 90% of people still chasing the next magic pill. If this video helped you see fat loss differently, smash that like button. It tells the algorithm to show this to more people who need to hear it. And if you're not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. I'll see you soon.